Hi, everybody. I'm Seth Diamond. I'm the host and the executive producer of Food Biker. It's a web series. I'm a chef. I'm motorcycling around the United States, and I'm meeting with other chefs, and they show me how they do it. We have a car-based version called Restaurant Racer as well. So here's a 15-second clip. Can't show you much in 15 seconds, but...
En route to the Food Biker rally, I had stumbled upon the Saxton's River Distillery, where I had pulled over to taste some maple
whiskey. Lots of whiskey. So I'm going to try and do something kind of wacky, because Sherry had said it's 20 slides here. To go through that, there are basically 20 different things that I'm kind of passionate about. Obviously, I went back to school, went to Cordon Bleu, also very involved in the beverage world as well. I want to show you how you can kind of follow your dream. If you guys are doing something with your craft and you go pro, and you think about what kind of skill sets you already have. So for me, I was one of those guys. I was in medical school years ago, and I had about 16 months ago when I said, screw it, this is totally not for me. But I decided I had a background in science. These are all things that I use in the kitchen all the time. But I was really screwing around in med schools with motorcycles and cars. That was my thing. I was like, how can I put all these kind of things together? So I had a bit of a background with stuff with graphic design. So basically, if you know any of the Adobe suite, I highly recommend to start playing around with it. As you can see, like Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, that's how I wound up designing the Food Biker logo. So you can kind of up your game for, let's say if you have craft or something, design something. For photography, get a DSLR camera. Don't rely on your iPhone. Start learning how to use the camera. Let's say if you have a craft, get some good shots in there. It's a real eye-opener. Start playing around with Instagram. Music. I used to play music years ago. So I was like, well, I don't want to get these stock tracks. So I was like, I'll just write my own stuff. So play around on the Mac with GarageBand, possibly Logic as well. Writing, start a blog. It's so easy to do. Start writing some articles. Share with a lot of people. There are tons of online communities, that sort of thing. Put up a website. WordPress is very, very easy to use. It's free. If you're a coder like me, start playing around with MySQL or PHP. You can really do stuff with coding. But there's a huge community out there. The people, if you can think of it, somebody's already done it. I was thinking, well, what other skills do I have? I used to do some Unix system administration years ago. So I was fine, I'll make my own server. That's a Mac G4 Cube. That's one of my early servers. So just kind of figure out what things do you already know how to do. Branding and social media, tweet, Facebook, do all that kind of thing. Obviously, you have to do some stuff if you want to go pro. Self-promote a little bit. Obviously, if you guys can do the Food Biker, I'd be the Facebook like, tweet, that sort of thing. Video production. Start playing around with iMovie if you haven't already. And if you get really involved with that, start using Final Cut Pro. That's what we wind up using. Do a little how-to video. Promotional products. So I was like, what else can I throw at it? I've had a t-shirt company called Thump. So I was like, fine, I'll make my own gear. I don't need Spreadshirt or anything like that. Just make it. I've also been really into vintage telephones and electronics for my whole life. That's my motorcycle there, and that's a vintage telephone call box that I actually played around with. It rings when I hit the brakes, light goes on and everything. It's a lot of fun. But you'll see it in the episodes. Vinyl cutting. So I said, well, I want to make something on the back there. I can do the graphic design, right? So I made, using vinyl, very much like some of these other machines that we've seen, to actually cut out the custom design. It actually blew up this afternoon. So back to passion stuff for activism, I was like, I want to do something that I really enjoy to make better, smarter television. We're going to be pitching this to the networks in about 6 months or so. And I want to boost some local economies and fight hunger here in the United States. Now, some people may recognize this, the underwear gnomes, step 3 profit. One of the best things for entrepreneurship is basically try and get a good accountant, and they'll go through saying, hey, you may be able to take your hobby and actually make some money doing it. So do an inventory of your passion and figure out what kind of skill sets you already have. You put them together and you can follow your dream. So again, obviously, check out at foodbiker.com. I'd love your guys' feedback for episodes. If you can, please do the like, Twitter, follow, all that kind of stuff. We're trying to get our numbers up before we pitch. Any questions, please come talk to me outside. Thanks.